Hi, Beverly Smith with Creating Vibrant Days here. I'm very excited to introduce the nightly ritual to you. I created this nightly ritual to address sundowning behaviors. Who doesn't dread it? Imagine how it is for you. Now think about how scary it must be for people living with dementia, how truly terrifying it must be living through a moment night after night. Now, although doctors don't know the exact causes of sundowning, it has been linked to sensory overload. Think about the stressors people living with dementia encounter, not even just daily, by the minute. So I've created this ritual as a way to be proactive, as a way to create relaxation, especially starting from dinner on, to give residents and you something to do, and to just create an evening that slopes downward. If you think about an activity slope, instead of going on the upside of the roller coaster, you're trying to bring them down that roller coaster hill. So it's meant to be calm. I have created a document for you because although it is very simple in nature, there are very specific stages to follow. I've been debating how to introduce it to everybody, and I don't want to just read from a document and insult your intelligence. So what I'm going to do is let you read the document, and I'm going to go through the nightly ritual and how it would look from a perspective of working with a group of people living with dementia or working with one-on-one, say you're a home care partner. The things I do want to stress is that this document itself resides in our Creating Vibrant Days private Facebook group, which is free, will always be free. Everything we do will be free. But we hope to see you there. By putting the document in that location, we hope that you can not only pull it up and read it, but we hope you will post your critiques of it. Something that worked really well, something that didn't work, an add-on you found that worked, just anything at all. Because there is no one size fits all in dementia, and there is no one person that knows everything. Every day is different, every person is different, and it takes a whole group of people creatively looking at activities to come up with something new, because I can tell you the activities that are out there, although some of them are very, very good, it's still not working. It's not working for people who are at home and lost for things to do. And it's not working for activity directors who are repeating the same activity every single week, because boredom will set in. This keeps days vibrant for not only people living with dementia, but for their care partners as well. And I can tell you, the people may not always understand what is happening or even what you're thinking or who you even are. But the one thing they will understand is genuine love and happiness. So let's get to it. Oh, subscribe to the channel, please. I really hope so. More people can find us. So we're just going to go through, and I'm going to start with the first activity, which is tea and honey with classical music. In a group setting, I would already be preparing the tea in a big soup pot in advance and putting a little squirt of honey into, in my case, well, coffee mugs, but I would be putting it in, getting it ready. So as soon as dinner ended, I could get right out there with the tea. I would actually save the snack that came with the dinner and then give that snack along with the tea and allow people to enjoy the classical music, start eating. And as people finished up, we could start getting people into the living room even in advance of that 30 minutes. The important part in a group setting is to allow people to have time for the tea and their snack, but not to allow them time to get bored or confused and start wandering. You need to keep this moving. So confusion doesn't set in, because once confusion sets in, sundowning is a possibility. So after the tea, I have a second playlist. And by the way, both playlists are in our Spotify account. It's Creating Vibrant Days, and the playlist would be CVD dash dash classical, and the other one is CVD dash dash nightly ritual. But two, move to the living room. If you have one person, obviously that's a pretty easy move. You may have even actually chosen to move there for the tea and the snack. And again, the tea and the snack, before you move to the living room, let me cover the individual, which I didn't, but the tea and the snack may take 15 minutes there. So these times aren't etched in stone. They're just an estimate of what worked for me specifically. And again, I am coming from a memory care unit environment. But the move to the living room, at this point, you need all hands on deck. This move should be as quick as possible to get everybody in there. Now, you should already be in the living room prior to people being moved in. You should be able to start the sing-along. You want to make sure all residents can hear it, but the important part of the sing-along is to enjoy yourself. Sing along to every song, hum to it, make eye contact. You're not trying to be animated in a super entertaining way, but you're trying to be animated enough. Think about a mother singing to her child, for lack of a better comparison. A mother who's just wrote, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Even the child knows the mother is checked out. We can tell this. You want to sing with love and joy while keeping it calm and keeping the singing low. The other thing, and I put it in there, but you're going to want to stop the nightly ritual playlist at the song Weightless, because that's going to be almost a final meditation for good night. We'll get to that in a minute. But you will be, during this time, singing to people and going around and giving hand massages with lotion. Sometimes in a day, this is the only positive, loving touch a resident is getting. I'm not saying that in their daily care they're not getting touch, but they're getting a different type of touch, typically a guiding touch or a helping touch. Let me help you eat. Let me guide you here. Let me get you dressed. This is a touch that is only meant to communicate love. I do want to bring in something very important about touch. I find it important to ask every single person every single night, do they want a hand massage and do they want lotion? Even if you have done the hand massage on a person night after night for months, there is most likely going to be one night that they just don't want to be touched. It's just like us. I have nights I want hugs all around, all the time. I also have nights I'm going to bite your head off if you even try to touch me. Why would we think a person living with dementia does not have that same complexity? Any touch that is unwanted is an uncomfortable touch. It's an anxiety doing touch, and it's exactly what you want to avoid. One-on-one, of course, this playlist, the hand massage, it is going to be ridiculous to spend 30 minutes on it. You're going to be staring at the walls. It could work. And in some cases, for people who love music, would work, especially if you can nail down the perfect playlist. Try new songs. I mean, even in a group setting, favorite songs. 30 minutes would go by fast. And honestly, I don't really know of better ways to connect in a relaxing environment than a sing-along. I love sing-alongs. I sing along with gusto, not necessarily talent, but 30 minutes, I don't want to discourage it, but 30 minutes of hand massage is not going to work for either of you. In a group setting, 1 to 2 minutes is enough. In a setting where you're one-on-one, maybe 5 minutes is enough. You'll intuitively know, and it's going to be different, and you have the benefit of having far more flexibility. So next we get down to part three, the read aloud. Now I have recommended certain books and even certain stories within a book. I am going to read you 7 stories eventually. You're going to get the first one following this video. But I'm going to read the first story to you immediately. But you do want to use inflection. Again, going back to being read to. Think about times you've been read to. Let's just talk about a class and the person's read in a voice that doesn't have a lot of inflection, or you can even tell they're bored and they just want to get through the story. You are going to tune out with on the story yourself. People living with dementia are coming at it from even more of a disadvantage in that they're not going to understand the story or follow the story. And I get this. And I've had a lot of people come to me and say, why do you read these stories to them? You know, they're not understanding everything. Well, true. In some cases, you might have a person who's getting 1 out of every 10 words. But this is where I use a lot of voice inflection. This is where I use a lot of hand gestures. I try to make myself as interesting as possible while also remaining very calm to make it more of a reminiscing activity. Almost all of us were read to as children, either through our parents or through school. This is typically a memory that feels good, and this is a memory that is going to reduce anxiety. We also don't want to put people that are living with dementia on a childlike level. We want to stay on their level. And even though a children's book, and I'll get to children's book later because there are activities you can do, but a children's book may be easier to understand, but a children's book is not the age level they are. And I try to stay away from them unless it's a specific activity that draws it in, like art or poetry. So I think that's it with the read along. And the next time, prep for bedtime. This is where you're going to turn on the final song waitlist on the nightly ritual playlist on Spotify. It's the first song that was created by psychologists meant to reduce anxiety. Now the song is 10 minutes long, so it takes a bit of time. Now, in a group setting, this worked wonderfully because this was the time when I left. And this was the time that I was able to go and hug and tell every single resident I loved them, every single resident, no matter what. It's important for people to hear this. It's like plants with water. Every single one of us needs to know that we're valued and cherished and that we mean something. So I consider this very important. Now, on a one-on-one situation, I would change wait lists around, and I may not do it until I'm trying to think where I might do wait lists. I may do it after the television show and almost put it on in the person's bedroom as a final song for bedtime when they're already in bed. Now, obviously, a group situation, that's not going to work. So I put it in under the prep for bedtime and my goodbye time. The other thing I do want to say about goodbyes before I move on, never let a person with dementia see you leave. Never. If you were meant to be there, you stay there because the second they see you walk out a door, that's going to be a trigger for them to need to walk out the door and to go somewhere as well. Now, in a group setting, I had to get really, really creative. I had to live a lot of truths. Almost everybody's truth is, I have a family I need to take care of and I need to go home now. Or my mommy and daddy don't know where I am and I know they're getting scared and I really need to get home now. So I would address the group multiple times and be proactive and get in front of it. Hey, I've got an incredible like this, and I'm talking as I'm bringing the tea out. Hey, everyone. I have an incredible announcement to make. We are having so much fun. We called everybody's families. Again, I'm not being specific to mom, dad, child. We called everybody's families and asked if it would be okay if you stayed the night here. And they all said yes. So we are all going to go into the living room after we have our tea and our snack, and we're going to have some fun together. And the staff, the wonderful staff you see here, they're going to be preparing a room for every single person, and we get to stay the night. And then we can wake up in the morning, have a quick breakfast, and go home. And I had to put that part in because I had people who would say, well, I can't do that, and I need to be home for this and this and this. So just proactively doing something like this was enough. And when I left, I didn't tell people I was leaving for the night. I said, good night, I love you. I am going to my room now. I will see everybody in the morning for breakfast, but they never saw me leave. If you think about it from a dementia perspective, especially right around dinner time, the memory care unit is flipping. Day staff is turning into evening staff. What has been known all day and reliable all day has now been thrown out literally the door. So this is important for everybody. And one thing I forgot to bring up, and I should, this nightly ritual is good for CNAs who are incredibly overworked. If you are reading the story and listening to the music, as soon as they assist you with getting everybody in the living room with you, they actually do have free time until it is time to take everybody to bed. So it creates camaraderie, and it makes you as an activities director a very valuable part of the staff because you're providing relief now. You're taking away a problem rather than adding to it. So we go on, we've done that, and then finally we're down for a television show. I have actually given you in this document recommendations to TV shows that have always worked for me. We are using television shows to create a calm and relaxed mood. This is not the time, or is it actually ever the time, to show something violent. Even a rescue show, fire station show, trying to think of a show out there right now. 911 out there. Not a good time. Well, never with a person living with dementia, but definitely not a good time to play it at night. You're going to want things that are reminiscent of childhoods or where in general the group is at. And if I forget, somebody please remind me. I definitely want to make a video of trying to come up with a center point for the group, because although it seems scattered, it is very possible to kind of plot the different birth dates and kind of figure out where everybody would be. For instance, I'll give you now, somebody who was born in 1950 will really recall the Tonight Show, and they will enjoy the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Of course, I was born in 1970. I'm in my early 50s. I will also join the Tonight Show because as a teenager, I might watch it myself if I stayed up late, but I also have the memory of watching it with my parents, so it's a very comforting memory. You're going to want to make sure you don't have shows that have sad things. I want to remind you of this. If you're showing Lassie, you sure better screen it to make sure nobody dies in the episode. And Lassie can get kind of scary at parts. Again, we're looking for a really almost a straight line. We're not looking for a roller coaster spike to spike anxiety. With that said, I hope I did a good job covering this and at least making it accessible to you. The document is going to give you so much more. So again, please, 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 Creating Vibrant Days, go to our business page, and our business page has a link to our private Facebook group. I hope to see you there. I hope to get these discussions going, and I hope you are having a very vibrant day or evening, depending on which time of the day or evening it is for you. Thanks again. Bye-bye.